What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. Josh, you want to take it away here?
Yep. When the menace, known as the Joker, wreaks havoc and chaos on the people of Gotham, Batman must accept one of the greatest psychological and physical tests of his abilities to fight injustice. This movie has a 94% critic score and audience score and grossed $1.06 billion
Let's go.
worldwide.
Whoa.
Yep.
Dang, that was in 2008, too. Think about
Yep.
that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Batman Begins, I think, made like $337 million. So, like, not even close to $1 billion, and then the second movie obviously crushed it. So
Well, it's also been out since, when did you say, 2008?
yeah, but in theaters worldwide, it made $1 billion,
That's not
barely.
bad.
And I mean,
Yeah.
That's not
to
bad.
start it
What do you
off
mean?
on,
That's light work.
not to start it off on a dark tone, but it's crazy. This movie made $1 billion, and one of the first mass shootings happened during the beginning of this movie, and it's really crazy just to think that even with how negative that impacted probably first night sales, that it would still grow on to gross 1.02 billion.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, too, and the passing of like Heath Ledger and everything
Yeah,
too.
and
When
that was a
did-
big thing as well. Was the passing of Heath Ledger, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but like they got hands on his diary that he would use to get into like the headspace of Joker, dude, and he looked like he was someone that belonged in Arkham.
And what pictures were in that diary? Alex from A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah, that was actually one of the characters that
It
he.
was, wasn't it?
It was.
Yep. Yeah, I
Well,
showed that today.
what year did he die?
A couple months before the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That reminds me of what movie just happened where someone passed
Kubrick.
John
away.
Wick 4 with, I don't know his name, I'm sorry.
That was like a week before.
There was another one, too, but I can't think of it off the top of my head here.
Chadwick?
What's his name? Chadwick, but Ray Liotta in
Ray Liotta.
Yeah,
Blackbird.
and then in what we talked about in Rewinds, Kubrick right before.
No, Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear. Who was it that
Oh, the
died?
bear
Ray
guy.
Liotta.
Ray Liotta.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You said, what movie did you say it in?
He said Blackbird,
Blackbird.
Yeah.
Is that what it was
which
called?
is a show we also did. Yeah. Those were like his two last projects, I believe.
No,
Actually,
he's
I think
got
there's something
one-
else. Yeah, with
There's
Charlie
a movie
Day. or
coming out.
something.
Yeah, Charlie Day's movie. He's in that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but I don't.
Yeah, but
he's
you know
got
what?
a,
on
part in
track,
that.
Heath Ledger, the GOAT, the best Joker we've seen in our lifetime. I think
think
that's
anyone
what
will
makes
top him.
this movie so fucking good. Nolan was really good about being able to like show him as like crazy, but not crazy like we saw in like Suicide Squad, you know, and then not goofy. Not that Nicholson's Joker was necessarily goofy, but goofier, you know. Like this one was just super serious. Like this guy was here to play no games.
Yeah, but I mean, not even to get off track because we're talking about Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan, but he was trying to get approved for like one of the studios to approve Interstellar, and no one was taking it because he wasn't an established director at the time. So he went and did Batman Begins, and then that did okay, but then he came out with Dark Knight, and they weren't even planning to make a sequel, let alone a trilogy. And then they make Dark Knight, and it literally just flopped his entire, or basically flipped his entire.
It blew up. There's the word
Yeah.
for it.
Well, no, it flipped it. So now he's one of the most established directors of all time.
A flop is probably the worst word you could
Nah,
use
I
for
didn't.
that.
I meant to say flip flop.
So with
But
those,
regardless, though, how did he get Batman Begins, though, if he wasn't established? I'm curious.
He just wanted to do. Someone pitched him like a Batman movie, and he wanted to put like a different twist on it. Not like
Okay.
the old ones. Like he didn't want like a comic book style type film, so he wanted to do like his thing. And I mean, that's the thing with Christopher Nolan is that like everything from like Interstellar and up, anything you see on screen is kind of like Kubrick. Like everything has a meaning behind it. But in The Dark Knight, like there's some plot holes and stuff like that where he didn't kind of establish that into his directorial style until Interstellar.
Yeah, the Easter eggs are so deep. I read a thing a couple days ago when I was doing more
What
research on the movie.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, for Dark Knight,
Mhm.
and the scene with the bank heist at the beginning, which we'll talk about in a minute. But like they play like a D note, like a long D note, and then as soon as the Joker takes off his mask and reveals himself, it plays a C note for DC. Really cool. Like there's
Dang.
small things like that that are really cool. That you know,
this
he,
one, was this one also Hans Zimmer?
Yes,
Yep.
it was Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
Yep.
so shout out that goat as well.
And the other thing that's sick about this is that they only play Batman's theme song twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not even in like anytime he shows up, it's like I don't know the two parts, but I think it's one at the beginning and then one at the very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is sweet.
Yeah, and then too, I want to ask you guys this because this kind of has to do with the first movie. But what did you guys think of Christian Bale changing the Batman voice? In this movie, I know it was a Christopher Nolan tip, like he wanted
It
him
was
to
his
do it.
idea.
Yeah, it's his idea, but I wanted to know what you guys' thoughts on. I've heard complaints in the past. I don't personally have a problem with it. I think it works, but
as it's aged, I've liked it a little less.
Yeah.
Personally.
After rewatching it
but
this
I don't
newest
hate
time,
Yeah.
I'm like sitting there and it seems so forced. Like obviously he's acting, but it's like
doesn't sound.
Like
Yeah.
the one that sounded super
Rachel.
forced was right at the beginning. He goes, "What's the difference between us and you?" And he goes, "I'm not wearing hockey pads."
and that's when I like honestly started busting out laughing.
At that
I'm
point,
like,
I did
"Geez."
lose it, and that's where I agree with you, Andy. But I won't go as far as saying that I hate it by any fucking.
Yeah,
means.
I don't hate it.
No,
but
I don't
it's-
hate it. I mean,
And then because I think if you want to go, because now we have Pattinson, and I think his was like kind of a mix of like him talking, but also him trying, like not even necessarily trying.
It
but
felt
trying
more
to-
organic.
making his voice a little deeper, like the Dark Knight.
vengeance.
Yeah.
But I mean, to get into the movie, one
Start with
thing
Bank
that's
Heist?
like, no, I mean, just in general, like, I
okay.
love that it's not just the Joker. We obviously see Scarecrow at the beginning,
Scarecrow.
then we get
Two-Face.
Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and we get the Joker all in one.
Yeah,
And like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than that. Like, you just open up with that Scarecrow scene, and you just know, like, oh shit,
I'm
there's
stupid,
just so
man.
much going on in this movie.
And like,
I
what's
didn't-
cool too. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, you're good. I didn't know that was Cillian Murphy for the longest time. I don't know why I didn't put that together, man.
Well, he was in Batman Begins.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Like his face didn't register for me.
it took me
Yeah.
until fucking. I think once I got into Peaky, like I watched the first season forever ago, and didn't get too far. I was like,
That's
why does this guy look
Scarecrow.
familiar? And then Spencer's like, it's fucking
seen it
Scarecrow, dude.
before.
Yeah,
Well, it is like a
what's
brief
cool-
cameo.
yeah,
Basically.
But what was cool too is like, so even you go back to like Batman Begins, and you start off and he brought two villains in that you just really didn't think that they would touch, especially for the first one. You bring in like Scarecrow, yeah, sure, kind of well known, but then you bring in Ra's al Ghul, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, if you're not like if you don't know
Dude,
about
Liam
anything,
Neeson as
you're like,
Ra's al
who is
Ghul.
this? So then I think that's why the second one is cool because one, again, you get to see Scarecrow and you have background on him, but now you have the big bad. We're here, we get the Joker, and then the Joker just comes in so fucking sinister. And you start off with one of the best intros to any superhero movie with that bank robbery, dude.
That
You don't know what's
dude.
going on, and I'm assuming boss told you the same thing, and he goes, no, I killed the bus driver, and the bus person
And he
that
backs up
fucking
slowly.
kills me.
yeah.
I feel like a trend with like good movies. Like this is a good movie. If you like a superhero or not movie or not, this is a good movie. But when they have a really strong opening that's different, that doesn't feel cookie cutter,
Pulls you in.
it kind of sets the tone for the whole thing. Like this, you start off with this big heist, the big bad right away. You're kind of like, oh, what's going on here? Like it grabs your attention. You're more likely to follow through with the whole thing. I don't know. I feel that's just kind of like a general thing I've noticed because obviously we're watching way more movies now.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this for the first time. Like, you have no idea what kind of movie you're getting into. Like, yeah, it's a Batman movie, but where the hell's Batman at? You think that that's like the opening shot. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And then that's where, I mean, like, that's where it stands out, you know?
Yeah. And another cool part about this whole trilogy actually is the way the movies start is like it always starts with the villain who's in a mask with his
In plain
crew. Like
sight.
I like that. Yeah, in plain sight.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And the crew's talking, like, about who he is and, like, where, like, you know, all these, like, details about, and then it shows him at the end.
Yeah.
And, like, the
That's what,
reveal is sick.
That's why I kind of like these like obviously I like these movies, but that's why I like this trilogy is like they don't go too much on like Batman. And I think that's what Pattinson's trilogy needs to do. Like everybody knows who fucking Batman is. Like they want the backstory behind the villains and a little bit more in depth, like with them, like you're saying, like with the intros, like just like who is this guy? Like what does he want? All this stuff. And it, like you said, it sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Andrew.
I'll give another example. We're gonna review it. It'll come out after this. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that movie had I mean, whether you liked it or not, it had a pretty like strong opening right away. Like someone, I don't want to spoil the movie, especially because we're not doing that review yet. But like, that team right there is messed up. Like within the first 10 minutes, like, and it captures your attention because you're like, oh
Yeah.
crap, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you don't need that for like every kind of movie. You don't need something to blow you away. But with action movies, it helps. Like things like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to hear your guys' opinion on this, but I just feel like out of all superhero movies in general, this trilogy, and you can make the argument for the other two movies in this trilogy, but I feel like this one probably has to be the most realistic, like movie. Like everything it's not like Iron Man's suit, right? That like it's hard to believe that could be real. This is the most realistic a superhero movie I think can be and is. Next to like the Batman with Matt Reeves. It's like the hook that he uses to get back into the plane, like that's all real stuff. Like that's real military stuff. The Batmobile, obviously, we see it in the first movie. Like it is an actual thing that the
Designed to
military
make
used.
bridges.
Yeah,
You-
so it's like it's real stuff, which is really cool.
You know
Not
that
driving.
I I think I seen something about that scene where Joker is shooting the RPG out of that semi. They used like play toys like to actually shoot that scene. I don't know what I seen, but like obviously like there's like CGI and all that stuff. But like it's literally like a structure they made with like I said, like play toys, like a minimized like type deal, like setting for
Oh, just like, yeah, I mean, a lot of movies do that where it's a miniature set
yeah.
and they like do the close in shots and make it look as realistic as
I don't
possible.
know. I don't know how the fuck they did that, but that shit is so sweet to think about that. Like how like
Oh well, it's Christopher Nolan. They actually had an RPG. Don't be fooled.
well, yeah.
That's true.
They were
No.
blowing shit up.
After
Oh, yeah.
rewatching this again, especially with the Robert Pattinson's Batman or Matt Reeves' Batman,
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of the Chicago Gotham. Like it's cool and it makes it more realistic, but like I like that dark, gritty, like video game Gotham.
Yeah, I agree. But again, to a point Josh
What?
said at the beginning, or maybe it was Mikey, about how this was going to be the most realistic superhero
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
And I think that's why it worked really well.
Yeah,
And then it's cool too because then you could fucking like you could sit in Chicago. Like I was walking
You
through
see every
Chicago
building.
and you're underneath the train tracks. You're like, holy shit! I think this is where Bruce Wayne crashed his Lambo.
Yeah.
So, I
Well,
mean,
what's
it's
cool,
that
too-
he could do that.
What's cool too is the movie really makes the city of Gotham feel like a character too, in a way, right? Like everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like it makes me by the end of the movie believe it truly is Gotham rather than like Chicago. Although it's
I think
obvious
that's
it is Chicago, but
that's a
still.
good point. They do a good job of like animating the city. Like everyone cares about the city like a person in a way. Like we gotta
Yeah.
take care of this.
This
Yeah.
movie, like this movie's a masterpiece, man. One scene for me that like really stood out emotionally that I want to talk about with you guys is when James Gordon dies, man, and like they walk up to his house and like his wife just starts fucking crying, dude. That got me so hard this time when I watched it around, man. I was like, oh my
And
gosh.
she just sees
'Cause
Batman perched up and starts yelling at him.
yeah, she's like, it's your fault. She's like
Yeah.
screaming at him too. I was like, no, bro.
Also-
and then his son's right behind, but
How mind blowing was it though? Because this took me a minute. This is another one Spencer pointed out that the actor that played Gordon was fucking Sirius Black from Harry Potter. I just never put that
Oh.
together for like years.
really?
Oh, when you're a kid?
Yeah, and then I think we were watching it in like high school, and Spencer was like, "Yeah, that's Sirius Black," and I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
Damn, he's in Oppenheimer too.
Yeah, Gary
Oh, let's
Oldman.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's a great actor.
It's Cillian Murphy. Yeah.
Is
I like
there-
to.
Oh,
Sorry, go
sorry.
ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say, is there anything this time around that stood out that you liked more than like other times? Because for me, that scene again where he crashes the Lambo stood out to me. I don't know why. I just never really paid attention to that. But they're running the list of potential danger to Gordon, and that guy's in the car, and then Bruce just happens to be out there and crashes into him and
Yeah.
stops him.
Yeah.
Like that shit was so hyped this time.
Yeah.
I think for me what stood out the most actually, I don't know why, just because I've seen this so much on TikTok, but when Joker has like the knife, he's like, you want to know how I got these scars? And every time it's a different story. And
Yeah.
that really stood out
Which
to
one
me
was
this
your
time
favorite
around.
story, Mike?
The first one.
About his dad?
Yeah.
I think the mom one's better, honestly.
I like the one about the wife.
Yeah, that's the one he
Yeah.
tells Rachel, right? At the
Mhm.
party. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one the most.
No,
That
that
one,
was the-
that
that
whole
was the
scene
mom
is
one.
scary.
He said
Oh,
his
is that the
mom
mom one?
always had the smile, so he wanted to do it himself, and then she couldn't even bat an eye at him anymore.
No, that was his
Ah.
wife.
That was his wife. His
Dumbass.
stepdad or his dad gave his mom the smile.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another cool part about this movie is when they're on the roof. It's pretty early on, and it's when Batman, Gordon, and Two-Face, I'll call him Two-Face, Harvey Dent, are arguing on the roof. And, like, they all, I don't know, they're all heroes in their own way, right? Like, interested in saving the city and going about it different ways. And I don't know, the camera shot of it, like, going around them was really cool, like, them bickering at each other. Because they're all they all have the same goal, but they're all going about it different ways. So I like that scene a lot.
Dude, I
Yeah.
just love how much he big dicks Harvey throughout the whole movie. Talk about Bruce.
Yeah.
I forgot about how much he flexes. He's like, oh, I don't think they would like you moving the table over. He goes, no, it's okay. Like, I own it. And then when
Yeah.
they go to see, what is it, the ballerinas? They're all gone, and they went on a trip with Bruce Wayne.
Well, and then for Harvey Dent's the party too, man, he's comes in with like 5 supermodels just around his neck, and then he's like he gives a
He
speech
comes in
right
on a
after,
helicopter,
man.
too.
Yeah, man. Everybody's like, "What the? Who is that?"
But that's
Yeah.
one thing that I took in when I rewatched it was how similar Batman and the Joker are.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
in
I
just
mean-
so many different parts. Like just the way that they like. Obviously, the Joker makes it like a huge. He puts in a huge emphasis on like I would be nothing without you. Like he has to have the Joker, or he has to have Batman in order to do what
Did
he
you
wants
not
to
take
do.
World Myth in high school, bro? That was like one of the best topics was when we got to watch Dark Knight in that fucking
I
class.
was probably asleep.
You know, when you guys say that too, man. When also shout out Michael Caine, man. Best version of Alfred by
Alfred.
far,
Yes.
by
Yeah.
far, not even fucking close.
You know who's a close second for me? The one from the Gotham TV show.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that guy.
dude, Gotham. More people need to watch that show, man. Like that is so underrated, man.
Mhm.
So underrated, dude. But when Alfred was talking about like some people just want to see the world burn, that shit is chills down your fucking spine, man. When he says that, dude.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
casting in this movie is ridiculous. You have Jake
Well-
Gyllenhaal's sister as Rachel, Michael Caine, the guy that plays Two-Face. Then you also have Morgan Freeman, like Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. Like just those alone are just
It
ridiculous.
is a
Cillian
pretty awesome
Murphy.
cast.
They
Yeah.
recasted Rachel, right? There was a different Rachel in Batman.
Yeah, it was
Begins.
different.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't want to come
Which
back.
is
for
weird
the
because how did
second.
Maggie Gyllenhaal get that?
Mhm.
But I mean,
I
she
don't know.
does. a
I
good
liked
job.
her. Yeah, I liked her acting a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
Me too.
Um,
Well, you know when Heath Ledger got casted too, everybody hated it.
yeah.
Everybody hated it. They were like,
I
"Oh my
think
gosh,
at
like
one
that's
point-
awful."
I think there's like notes about it how like Keaton had, or not Keaton, Nicholson had gone up to him, was kind of like, "Hey man, maybe don't take this role because it will take you completely over."
No, he told him, and that's the thing. They said that he didn't even like his cause of death wasn't like related to the Joker.
Yeah,
They said he was an insomniac, so he never
Right.
slept, and he just mixed a bunch of pills.
Yeah, but I think
Oh,
if
shit.
I'm
he
sure it
was
did
an
take a toll
insomniac,
on him.
I think like having thoughts of the Joker in your head all night doesn't help.
But
Yeah,
No.
there's no reason. Like, no,
he was
it
just
doesn't
a
help
villain.
for sure, but it didn't hurt him. I don't think when
Right.
it came to that. But it's so sad, man. So sad.
Yeah. There's obviously a ton of iconic scenes in this movie. We mentioned the bank robbery at the beginning. I feel like that's probably one of the most iconic like movie openings. I feel like I always ending up on YouTube watching that like 10-minute clip of that scene happening. I heard like the whole bus part of it where the bus backs into the thing was like really hard to film. Just to get the shot right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
but I still think the most iconic scene though is when they're in the interrogation room when Joker gets
Yep.
caught. That's by far.
Dude, I forgot about how hard that was. They flipped the light and he's just back there and instantly slams the head. Holy
So
shit.
good.
And then he's beating his ass, and then he puts a chair underneath the door. And he just starts
Yep.
going in on him, and Joker's just laughing at him. Just pure craziness, man.
Yeah. No, that is definitely one of the most awesome scenes I feel like we've gotten in decades, right? Like I don't know, like that whole scene just gives me chills, like watching those characters go
Yeah.
back at it,
Well, because it's
back
like
and forth like that.
It's like an unhinged Batman, you know? Like he's supposed to be cool, calm, and collected, and here we are. He's met his match when it comes to crazy, but crazy for chaos versus crazy for like justice. And now he's
Yeah.
like, how do I even treat this? And he's like, all right, I'm just gonna assault the shit out of him. And if Joker, again, Joker, like in this is like just a guy. Like we know, like he was born in the toxic and shit, so he's not technically like human. But if he's just a dude, like he should have some head trauma. He was getting knocked around like no other.
Yeah.
The other part that I liked was like the Joker just keeps mentioning like you're gonna change, like you're gonna go out of your ways, like he's basically gonna kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he just keeps mentioning that from the start of the movie.
The only way you can win is if you break your one rule, is what he said.
Yeah, and then he's like, "You're gonna break your rule."
I will say, like, I do wish we kind of got like that scene we got in Gotham where we seen him like fall in the bed of poison
Bed
or
of
something
acid.
like that. There,
Bed of
acid. Yeah,
acid.
sorry. So I mean, that would have been cool to see, but I mean,
I think that's
Well,
where it would
this
be
one,
cool
too,
to
like,
be
he's
in the whole
not-
movie, you know.
Like you said, I don't think he fell in the vat of acid in this movie because he doesn't have like the scars. Like you can
Scars,
obviously tell, like they said that Heath Ledger would put his own makeup on for the Joker, so like that's
Right.
all natural, you know.
well, it's
And,
all
like,
fucking, it's all faded in some areas. It looks.
Well,
so
yeah, but if you
authentic.
look real closely, his hands have all white makeup all over them.
Dude, I'll never forget, in like the topic of makeup, I'll never forget when it was pointed out. This would have been like my third time seeing it. This would have been like forever ago. Like we would have been late middle school, early high school. But the first time you see that picture, and be like, in case you didn't notice, here's Joker in the lineup about to assassinate the mayor, and it's Heath Ledger with no makeup. And I like never noticed that until like my third or fourth watch.
Really,
Really?
Dude, well, yeah. Again, we watched this. We were like 8 or 9, and then I watched it.
What are you
again.
talking about? The
When they're
downtown
at,
scene?
Yeah.
when they're
At the parade.
Yeah, and it wasn't until I rewatched it again. It must have been 8th grade or 9th grade. Like we were definitely a little older, and then I was like, "Holy shit, that's him!"
But that dude that's in that scene is from Prisoners,
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, all those movies, dude.
He's
He's
in,
just always plays
Ant-Man,
the smallest
too.
parts.
And
He plays he plays the smallest parts, and you'll never forget where he's at.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
he just sticks out.
One thing too that I really liked that they did was when all of the people that died by Joker, they like gave subtle hints on who's going to be next. You know, like Harvey Dent with the two people laying at the kitchen table
Mhm.
where Batman was inspecting the bullet hole in the wall. You know, stuff
Mhm.
like
That was
that.
great.
That
And
was
too,
awesome.
with like the mayor and the what's it called?
Judge.
Judge. Yeah, thank you. The judge. She's the one that the car blows up, right?
That one was crazy because you don't
Yeah.
even think about it. That's the first one to die, and he goes,
Yeah.
"Look up," and she looks up, and the car just explodes. I'm like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit, dude!"
And
And then
next
I,
thing you
I,
know-
I looked at rewatching the funny shit is when the judge dies because they're like, Gordon's in the office with him, like locking it down, and then he takes a sip of whiskey or whatever water it was, and it looks like dry ice, like it's steaming and shit. It's like, Jesus, shouldn't that shit been steaming when it got in the cup? Like it's just like stupid shit like that.
No,
Yeah.
I love how psychotic he was throughout the whole thing. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
we skipped over one of my favorite scenes that comes from the beginning about when he robs the bank, and then he's talking to all the mob bosses, and he walks in. He goes, "You want to see a magic trick, dude?" That scene.
the pencil.
I remember me and I forget who it was, but me and this kid in Latchkey used to reenact that shit all the time in elementary school because that shit was so wild.
Hey, yo, man.
Which one of you were the Joker?
We would switch.
Oh, okay, take turns.
He's in jail
All right.
now.
All right, man. I think this is time for discussion here. Is this the best trilogy of all time?
Ooh.
What do you
That's
mean
hard.
of all time?
Of all
Best
time.
superhero. Best superhero.
all-
Best superhero.
But
Give me
then
give
you're
me a
going up
trilogy that's
against-
better.
you're
Give me a
going up
trilogy
against
that's
Lord
better.
of
I'm
the
gonna say
Rings,
Lord of the
though.
Rings.
You're going
Yeah,
up
okay.
against the rings, brother.
Yeah, I mean, Rings. You could even consider the original Star Wars
Yeah, I was
better
gonna say
than
the
this.
original Star
4,
Wars
5,
trilogy.
6.
Jurassic Park, even with 2 being
Men in
shit.
Black.
Men in Black is solid too. That's fucking great.
No,
Who
get
the
the
fuck
fuck
is
out
this
of
guy?
here.
I would say
That actually
uh,
gives me an idea. We should do a maybe a
Trilogy bracket.
Yep,
John
I was
Wick.
thinking that.
That would be dope.
Yeah, but then Jurassic World would win it.
That's true. Jurassic.
The New Planet of the Apes might be better than this. Original Spider-Man might come.
I
on.
do like the new Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but again,
Planet
we're
of the
talking-
Apes?
Spider-Man.
We're talking
Yeah.
superheroes, Aiden. I still
The
think
new ones. I'm not
Dark
saying
Knight
it's better than the
is-
Dark Knight trilogy, but
I think the Dark
What
Knight
those
is
old,
Spider-Man.
Fuck, what's his name?
I'm sorry. I think Dark Knight beats the old Spider-Man trilogy just
I
based
agree.
on the sole fact that Spider-Man
Clint
movies
Eastwood.
awful, dude.
Spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying that Guardians is up there too. I'm like,
Guardians is really good too.
we're gonna get
Guardians
into
trilogy's good.
we're gonna get into Guardians 3 here on this next
That's
episode.
easily the best Marvel trilogy in my opinion.
I think though.
I'll say Captain America. That's just me.
Let my boy Reeves cooks. Like let him cook.
We'll see. I'm excited.
Think if these next two are bangers, we're gonna have a contender for best.
So
100%.
let me say this. I think for Reeves trilogy, I want every villain but Joker, and I want Joker to be behind the scenes for all three.
I agree.
That ties in together for
like
a fourth
he visits
movie.
him for tips and shit.
And
What's the thing that's
the fourth
sweet?
movie is Joker, and everything comes together, and it's just a massive shit
Joker.
show, dude.
We've had enough of the Joker. I like how they show Penguin.
Fuck you.
What's the other guy's name? That's like
Falcone?
Falcone and
Guy can't even say his
the
villains
Riddler.
right. He's fuck Joker.
Motherfucker, I asked you, you didn't say it.
I was too busy fucking roasting.
Whatever,
you, man.
but they need to
Looking
not
like a
have the
dumbass.
Joker in that trilogy.
Well, I
It'd
think
be
we're
so
getting,
good.
like,
Clayface.
Yeah.
They could do like
I
another
want
Ra's al
them to
Ghul. They could do
Hush, bro.
Mr. Freeze. That's who
Yeah,
I want.
Court
to
of
see.
Owls.
Court of Owls.
Poison
yeah.
Ivy.
Court of Owls, though, I think that would be the best way to wrap the trilogy.
Yeah.
Because the Court of
Yeah,
Owls are
man.
like the only people that were able to.
The
beat
Court of
Batman
Owls
comics
was
and shit.
sweet as fucking god.
But I don't think there's
I
any
love
like
the Court of Owls
names
in
that we
Gotham.
can name in the Court of Owls.
No, I don't
Like,
know.
it's just,
any
it's
of
just a
them.
group.
Yeah, it's like the fucking.
What's cool about them is they're as big as villains to Batman as they are to Bruce Wayne, which makes it really cool. So it's like double-edged sword there. But yeah, another scene. I mean, we got to talk about this, right? The Rachel death, Rachel and Harvey, right?
Rachel writing
That
a
whole
letter
scene.
and Alfred cockblocking or doing, I guess, the opposite of cockblocking.
No, it's the
and
opposite. Hypes him up.
But
Not giving
no, watching it like when Rachel's like mid sentence and then the explosion goes off, like that's always the craziest scene.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just can't-
Every
Like,
time
you
I
don't-
watch it, I'm
you're-
like,
you're like
Batman, go to the
invested
other
in
one.
What she's gonna say,
Dude,
and then it
he
just
goes,
explodes.
No, get off of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acting
And
is
then-
so amazing.
And Harvey Dent's like, "You're supposed to save her."
Oh,
And
God.
he's screaming it.
It's a villain
And then
arc.
you know when he's like laying on his like side, he's like, "Oh, this is how it happens.
Yep.
This is how it
Yep.
happens."
Dude, and it's
Yep.
so cool because Joker was able to corrupt the most pure guy in Gotham.
The White Knight.
The White Knight. Holy
The White
fuck, that
Knight.
whole thing is crazy. And
Yep.
then the scene
Yeah.
in the hospital where he's talking to him and he offers him to pull the trigger, but the whole time Joker's actually holding like the fucking what the fuck's that thing called? Where it goes over and actually shoots, he was just blocking that. So even if he
Oh.
pulled the trigger, it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that
know what's
whole
funny
scene.
too about that hospital scene is when he's in the nurse fit and he's just walking
Oh,
on the outside and it's just exploding.
That's what's so
behind him.
sweet about Christopher Nolan is like all that is like it's not practical effects. Like I mean, obviously they put the bombs and shit, but it's like literally a fucking explosion.
you know,
So like they're blowing up a car, they're blowing up a building, they're making the 18-wheeler fucking do a flip,
yeah.
just shit like that. Like it's so
You
dope.
know, him hitting the trigger was improvised, right? Like it was supposed to blow up in the first go, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Work, so
Oh,
then
dude,
he
it's
hit it,
so
and then they
good.
kept it.
Yeah.
And he plays it all. That's just how you know he's a good actor because it's not like he broke the scene and was like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Like thank God he did that.
If I was an actor, man, I would break so many scenes.
Yeah, but I mean that's why. But these guys are like the best of the
What's
best,
my
man.
lines?
Yeah. Fuck, man, I'm sorry. What was I supposed to say?
The fucking $500 million explosion behind them fucking goes off and they miss the cut,
Dude.
miss the
Yeah.
shot.
I also love the scene at Harvey's party again. So when Joker pulls up, there's the whole thing where she's he goes, "You got a little fight in you." He goes, "Then you're gonna love me."
Yeah.
That
pulls
and then
up on
followed
him.
up by the "Let her go."
And the fact that the
so
boss or whoever, the judge or whoever's in the room
With the-
shagging the chick,
Oh, yeah.
Girl,
and then
as
he's
walking.
like, "Oh, Bruce, like, oh, you got a panic room," and then he just
Yeah.
disappears, and then Batman shows up. So like, all right, like I'm just sitting there in the background, be like, I'm pretty sure Bruce Wayne's Batman. They didn't even
Well,
say
so-
shit about it.
Let's talk about that scene where one of his employees tries to blackmail him to Morgan Freeman.
Oh my
Love that
God.
scene.
It is
It's so
Let's
hilarious.
talk
good.
about that. Yeah, what did you think of that? That is awesome.
That response is so fucking clever. I don't like even how you think of that, like writing it. Like you gotta
Yeah.
be like,
Let
damn.
alone Lucius Fox is just a dope ass name.
Yeah.
Oh, it
You
is.
just put Morgan Freeman's face to it.
Like, I was so glad to see Morgan Freeman get that role, especially after I appreciated it more because I think I had watched Batman Begins and Dark Knight before I had even touched the Arkham games. So it was cool when Arkham City came around and Lucius Fox was still a cool ass guy, and it's like, hell yeah, then this is actually the perfect casting.
Mhm.
It just made you grow a deeper appreciation, you know?
I know none of
Yeah.
you guys have watched this, but the casting for Lucius and it's actually Lucius's grandson and Batgirl is atrocious, man. Like it's awful, dude.
Can't imagine. You want to know the absolute worst thing that ever came from this movie?
What?
The temporary bat cave and all the 1,000 music videos we got shot in there after.
Yeah. There's just the white ceilings.
Yeah, the white ceiling
Well,
underground.
it's funny because everyone's like, "You got to stop shooting music videos there." And the first one, I was like, "Hey, wait, that's the Batcave."
It's a bat cave. It's sick as fuck in the movie, but when you go on Vivo and you see every damn person in 2008 to 2010, yeah, they're all under there.
Man.
Yeah, but nothing's cooler than seeing that bike come out of the
Oh,
out
it's
of the
so
shipping
sick.
container like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
God, bro.
Oh yeah, no, that Batcave's sweet.
No, it is
So-
Andrew,
I
what you
agree.
got? What's the scene
Yeah.
this time through that fucking got you into it again?
Nothing in particular stood out. I know I'm being kind of quiet on this episode. Pretty tired here. Nothing that I hadn't seen. I've seen this movie probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 times.
I'm
So-
about the same.
When I watched it this time, it was nothing. It was more of an appreciation. Like, yep, this is so good. Aside from Christian Bale's voice over time, I'm kind of like, why are we doing that? But like I said, I don't hate it. But
I'm
no,
for sure going on a Nolan kick here after watching this.
I gotta
Before
watch
Oppenheimer
Dark
comes
Knight
out.
Rises
Yeah,
after this.
Oppenheimer's coming out soon.
Oh man,
Yeah, dude, this movie, like watching it, just really makes me want to go like on a Batman kick too. I don't know what it is. Like, play the Arkham games again, like everything.
dude,
Like,
I've been meaning to rewatch the newest Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, but like I click on the play and it says 3 hours, and I'm just like, all right, good night. I literally turn it on. I watch the same damn scene every time.
I know.
Fucking
I remember
out
I
cold.
watched that at the beginning of this year for the first
I still only
time.
seen it once.
I saw it
Um,
twice in theaters and then once on HBO.
yeah, I'm the same, Brian. You know,
Well, I think
let's.
One,
Should we talk
one more,
about the?
one
Go
more
ahead.
scene we gotta talk about here is when they're all both on the ships.
Yeah,
Oh
and the,
my
and the
God.
detonators.
Dude, the
And
prisoner.
What the choose
When
between?
when the prisoner throws it out the window,
And he bosses up. He goes, "I'm gonna do what you should have done an hour ago," and he just throws it out.
and then everybody looks at each other and they just like look down
Mhm.
because they know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
dude.
then,
But
like,
then
and then the
also
guy
leading
on the
into
other
that
boat.
whole ending, bro, where you think it's SWAT in there, but it's just the fucking, or you think it's like the enemies, but really it's the SWAT with masks on them, and he's got guns taped to their hands and shit. Dude, so thought out. And like you got, what is Lucius, right, giving him all the pointers when he's looking
Yeah.
through the sonar.
That's like some
Yeah.
Arkham Knight shit,
Oh
man.
my god, yes, dude. And again, greater appreciation for that scene after playing the Arkham games because you're just like, holy fuck.
We didn't even mention the Hong Kong scene.
No.
Yeah, that's great too. Dude went overseas to go fight crime and
Yeah.
get
Delivers
the
him on the
hostage.
front door of the Gotham court steps.
So delivered
'cause
to Jim Gordon.
I think I sent you guys the Snapchat. I was like, imagine going halfway on the other side of the world, or on the other side of the world, and just trying to get away from Batman, and he still comes and gets your
Dude, but
ass.
the sweetest
That's
shit is when he's down
crazy.
there just shooting the sticky bombs to the windows. Dude, he's miles away, and he's
Yeah.
hitting them with precise aim, dude. It's
Sniping
so
'em.
sick.
Well, that's another point of the movie too, where you look at it and you're like, all right, Bruce Wayne Corporation is doing business with this overseas corporation, and Batman suddenly shows up at their headquarters and then comes back and then
On top of that, though,
the guy
Lucius
gets
Fox-
caught.
Lucius Fox comes to visit just to tell him we're going a different way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just to plant the phone.
Yep.
that's romanticized storytelling at its finest right there.
But it's awesome.
Even the
Yeah,
extraction is dope too.
Well, yeah,
The
but
fucking
even
balloon.
leading into the extraction, he's there, and that fucking plane picks him up, and nobody thinks twice about it. Like they fly him all the way to fucking is it China or is it Japan? It's China, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking fly him all the way to China, and then he just fucking rips this guy. No one says anything.
It's funny.
You know what's funny about that scene is when he gets off the boat, he's like, Alfred, are you gonna be fine? And the
Yeah.
lady's like, can you put sunscreen on me? He's like, I'll be good.
But no,
Yeah,
one
that's-
thing I really wish we saw in this movie or in this trilogy alone would be like crazy ass gadgets. Like I feel
Oh,
like we
yeah.
haven't seen any gadgets yet. Like
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
crazy
but
ones, you know.
I feel like that was part of keeping this movie real.
Yeah, but I mean, even like something like shocking, like a shocking
I
bat.
think Ben Affleck's Batman showed a little bit of that.
I haven't
I don't
seen
know.
any of them.
Okay, well, you misspoken then.
Well, I mean, do we really count that?
I mean,
Yeah,
the
1,000,000%.
more and more that I've sat with it, I don't totally hate the Affleck Batman movies.
Well, did you see his newest interview when he was like doing all the press release for Air? He said that he finally perfected the
Yeah.
Batman in the Flash movie, and that's it.
Yep.
Or is it the Flash movie? Is he even going to be in that?
It's
Yeah.
the Flash movie. Yep.
So we
Yeah, that's
get
what he was
Michael
talking
Keaton and Ben Affleck.
Yep.
Damn.
There's very small rumors that Christian Bale is going to be in it. I don't think he is.
There's rumors that other Batmans might show up, but
You know what I'm pissed about is Grant Gustin's Flash is not going to be in there.
Yeah, that is.
That's
Well,
bullshit.
maybe they're keeping that a secret, and that's going to be like the icing on the cake.
No, they went out and said that it's. Well, I mean, I guess they could be.
well, and remember, Mike, we've talked about it. The Flash show ends the week before the Flash comes out,
Yeah,
so which is
That
kind
would
of
be
cool.
sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited
think
that
it
I
was
picked
criminal
up watching
to
that
not
again.
bring him on because even though his CW show went completely off the goddamn rails, he kept Flash relevant. You know,
Dude,
Yeah.
he's
Flashpoint happened, and me and Josh, I remember we watched it live when it came out, and then instantly went to watch the Flashpoint cartoon that did way better with it. Like,
Yeah.
so to not have him in it would actually be criminal.
Yeah.
I think his Flash probably, like you can make an argument that he's the best like portrayal of the Flash, in my opinion. Barry Allen.
Yeah.
But
You're gonna say end credit scene is gonna be his mugshot. Will not return.
That'd be funny.
Change all the fucking end credit scenes forever.
Let's talk about the battle at the end with Joker, right? I mean, what did you guys think of that? Him getting him at the end. You know, I thought that was really cool.
Dude,
the whole fight scene.
when he sicks the dogs on him and then starts beating the shit out of him with the fucking
Yeah.
crowbar, bro. It just really makes you remember how human Batman is, and I actually
Yeah.
love it.
The one thing that really sucks is like you read more about it, you watch YouTube videos, and they obviously didn't kill the Joker off, but they captured him, and he was supposed to have like some kind of cameo in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, and Dark Knight
But they
Rises.
just
I think Dark
completely
Knight
scrapped
Rises,
it.
the one plot I had like watched a YouTube video on was the idea of them freeing Joker from Arkham and letting him wreak havoc among the streets again, but
Yeah.
this time fighting Bane. And then that's like where you'd see like how similar him and Batman are. Because at the end of the day, as much as Joker wants to like end the world, Gotham is still his fucking city. Bane just kind of took over because Batman was being mean to him.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have liked to see that, honestly. I'm glad that it kind of played out.
Well, they only did it because of Heath Ledger.
I know,
passing
but I'm
away.
saying even if he didn't pass away, I'd kind of liked how it went for Dark Knight Rises just without that.
I agree,
Just have
Yeah.
Scarecrow in all three of them.
but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, no, that to go on that scene, Josh. I thought when he was swinging that something else was gonna happen. Like I was just waiting for like something else. I'm like, there's no way that he's gonna get caught just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I watched it on DVD, actually, the opening scene for the actual movie itself is when he's on top of Batman and he's like, "Here we go," and then the movie
Yeah.
just starts, and I'm like, "Bro,
Oh man,
fuck."
there's so many good scenes. And then on top of that too, we didn't even mention it. When he brings all the mob bosses to the barn, and he goes, "It's not about the money," and he burns that fucking pile, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
God, man.
Well, dude, what about the opening scene when like the hockey pads in the parking garage and he's like throwing the damn Rottweilers across the thing? It's like Jesus, man.
Dude, Scarecrow driving away, and then he just waits at the top and times it and just lands. on the
Lands and
fucking-
crushes them, dude. It's
Oh
so
my
sick.
God. Honestly,
Oh,
I
man.
thought the first guy, the fake Batman suit was him for a second when I first watched it. I was like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
looks like fucking ass, man. I'm like,
And
who
the
is
Scarecrow's
this?
the only one to like call him out because he's got a gun. He's shooting at him. He's like, "That's not him."
He's using a fucking Uzi, man.
Yeah, and then he goes, "That's him." When the Batmobile's in like standby mode or intimidation mode.
No,
So sick.
what's cool too, and I know the Batman, the one we just got last year, like harps on this a lot, but the fact that at this point Batman's been around and the city's scared of him, the mob bosses are scared of him, right? So I like how they really captured that in this movie too.
I know why you do your business dealings at the broad daylight.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Who is,
Which makes complete sense.
But again, you
Yeah.
got to remember too, they fear him, and it's cool because the first one we did get that background to actually see that he did train with the League of Assassins. So like he is a deadly fucking killer if he wanted to be.
Oh, yeah.
Who is the person with the shotgun in the bank scene that says, "Do you know who
that's,
you're messing with?" I forgot his name.
So
he's
William
pretty-
Fichtner.
What else? What else is he in? He looks
He's
really
in a bunch of
familiar.
shit.
I know.
Thank you.
He's in.
His betrayal, like in that scene when he's got the smoke grenade in his mouth, like he looked so.
He's
It
in
was
Longest
awesome.
Oh, I
Yard,
know,
Black Hawk
exactly.
Down, Blades
Longest
of Glory.
Yard. That's what I seen.
He's in a lot of shit.
He's the
Equilibrium. He's in Heat. That's the other thing that Christopher Nolan based this like movie on was Heat with like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Okay.
That's a good ass movie. That's from '95.
Okay. Okay. So before we do reviews, does anybody else have anything before I ask this question?
No.
I mean, I think we pretty much hit everything.
Okay. Now I'm gonna ask this question here: is this a top 10 movie of all time?
I
No.
don't know. It's definitely top 5 superhero movie of all time.
It's
Well,
number
I
top
still think
three.
I think
Number
it's
one in
still
my
the
opinion.
number one superhero movie, to be honest.
Spider-Man
I don't
2
know,
is a
man.
close
I like
second, but that's
Endgame.
about it.
Endgame does give it a
Endgame's not even the best MCU movie.
Yeah,
I would say Infinity War.
I'd say
If we're going comic book, Dark Knight, Spider-Man 2, Infinity War, Endgame. That's my top 4. I would have to think about the 5th one, to be honest with you.
Top 10 movie of all time for me, no, but top 25.
Okay.
top
Brian?
15, easy.
definitely not my top 10.
Yeah, I don't think I can put a top 10. Top 15 though.
Okay. Josh?
Yeah, I think I definitely have it. Probably top 15 too. Honestly, I really love
Is
this
Tower
movie a
Heist in
lot.
front or behind it?
Tower Heist is top one. No, but I got
just
some
started
interesting.
watching that.
Dude, it's so good. Don't watch it until November though.
Is it good movie?
Um,
Well,
I'm gonna finish
well, here,
it
I'll
up.
be the outlier here and say that this is a top 10 movie of all time for me, for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I don't
completely, so.
think you're crazy with that take either. Like when I say top 25, I don't mean it's 24.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't
Like,
think.
the only thing that I have on Mike's decision of putting
I
this
just have to
top
think
top
about
10 is that he hasn't seen a lot of great movies.
Okay.
Like, no, you got
You're
some other
telling me,
ones to watch.
I guarantee the movies that you have in your top 15, 25, I've probably seen 85% of them.
Dude,
Okay, but
I'm not arguing.
No,
I
but
just
all you're
said-
doing, Aiden, is just confirming what if Mike hasn't seen better movies, then why the fuck wouldn't this be in his top?
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's-
saying.
that's fair.
I'm saying he's got to expand his category.
Okay.
I'm sure he's seen
Okay,
a lot
big
of
brain.
stuff.
Okay, Brainiac.
God his ass.
Irishman.
Aiden's leaving here to go to Irishman. He's
Irishman.
Okay, that was my
Greatest Scorsese movie.
No, it's my favorite. It's not. I didn't say it was the greatest. God, bro, Pete up
Greatest
right
favorite,
now.
same
Josh,
thing.
what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say, man?
All right, so Heath Ledger directed both homemade videos that the Joker sent in to GCN.
Bro, Josh,
Pretty
I
cool.
imagine that is that video. I wish we could fucking find it, but it's gone forever. Reminds me of the video you made in video production. We made a scary movie, so like I don't even know if you guys know about this. We made a scary movie in, was that 11th grade?
Yeah.
For a video production class in high school. And out of nowhere, we're piecing it together at the end. Like we got our teacher involved in it. Like we actually had a pretty decent movie. And out of nowhere, we're going through footage, and it just cuts. It's like in black and white. and it's Josh laying in the corner of the student shop with the lights off, going, I don't know what's happening. Everyone around me is dying. And then you hear something like someone was actually walking by, and you just hear Josh go, "Oh, what was that?" And I imagine Heath Ledger just going batshit crazy and grabbing a camera and making that. They were like, you know what? We could use that.
Well, I don't think that tops my performance as Thor. And what was that? What class is that?
Fucking.
Was that World Myth?
That was
again?
you, Josh,
That was World
and Izzy.
Myth. Yeah, World Myth.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a close
That video's
second
out
for
there.
sure. Yeah, it's out there for sure.
We're both
And by the way, we're doing
not
trivia
Getting a
here.
Heimlich
If
from
Josh-
whatever his name is.
Oh no, that's okay.
Oh,
my performance was like Heath Ledger, so
Dunlap.
I'm glad Brian brought that up. Heath Ledger improvised when he started clapping in the jail cell and mocking Gordon as he's promoted. The clapping was not scripted, but Christopher Nolan immediately encouraged the crew to continue filming.
Good.
So
The one thing I like about real quick, you said about
we didn't even talk
Heath,
about that scene.
Heath Ledger doing those two news videos.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan stood in with him on the first one, and like just to make sure that he it was up to like his standards. Then he said, "Fuck it, go ahead, do the second one." He's like, "I loved it.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, he literally said, "He goes, do whatever you want." Like that was amazing.
Yeah, I heard Heath Ledger put a knife on him, actually.
I'd be curious to know how often that happens in movies where like the actor just kind of like just starts doing something and then the
Yeah.
director is like, wait a minute, they're into this role like we
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
I think
It happens. I feel like it happens more often than we think.
I think
Yeah.
with a lot of comic book movies, 1,000,000%. But especially with a lot of big actors that are like really
Comedies too.
Yeah,
I'm
Like
sure.
you gotta
yeah.
imagine too. Well, comedies I feel like are majorly improv. Like, isn't
Yeah.
it Seth Rogen that said a lot of their films are just improv? Like they have the idea
Yeah.
of how
We
they want the
said-
scene to go, and then they just fill it in as they go because they're all just funny ass people.
He said Superbad, they just let him have free reign at
Yeah.
one point because they're like, all right, we'll just have it, the chemistry's good, so just make with what you have.
There's directors too, like Tarantino. They're no improvisation. Like nothing's improvised. Like
Except
it's all
for
his.
One of the best scenes from Django where he slams the glass, where Leo slams
Yeah.
the glass and cuts open his hand, and that's real blood. And that's why when he
Yeah, but it's not an improvised line.
Yeah.
No, but it's cool that he kept rolling with it and just let it go.
Yeah.
Because when he's rubbing his hand on what's her name's face, you just see the blood. You can see the disgust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No.
I mean, it definitely depends on who's directing the movie. Obviously,
Who's the
there are
director?
some asshole directors where they're like, no, whatever's on the script is on.
What about you,
being
Aiden?
filmed.
How are you? If you're directing, you giving a little improv? You let
100%. I mean, the best parts of most movies are improvised, so I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, I would definitely do a shot with how it's written on the script, but if someone has a different idea and you have time, and you go ahead, fucking do whatever you want.
I don't know. I feel like with the improv with comedy, when you guys were talking about that, like I feel like people would bust out laughing, man. Like if I seen some shit that was improv,
But that-
I would
I
ruin
don't
every
know.
scene. I mean, that's
I
why
would
I'm not an
never be
actor.
able to be on set of a fucking comedy, dude.
I'd be behind the
fucking
camera. I'd be behind the
die.
camera. I'd be like,
I'll be holding the mic.
It's
Fucking dying.
shaking a little bit.
Just break it down.
I listened to an interview with Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know if it was Smartless or something like that, but he was going like Joaquin Phoenix out of context or whatever the fuck, out of whatever we're talking about subject, and he said that he is like everything that he does when he's on set. He's like, God, this is so embarrassing, but like. Then he still does it. Like he'll be doing a crazy ass scene. Like imagine the Joker or Bo is Afraid, and he's just like, God, everyone's looking at me.
Yeah,
They're all laughing.
listen to our
like, all
Bo is
that.
Afraid review.
It's
You
like,
can't watch
God,
it on
dude.
YouTube.
But like, how is he so good at acting, but he still like is in his head about what other people think? What the fuck he's
Yeah,
doing?
and he's amazing at what he does.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. While filming a chase scene on Lake Street in Chicago, the police department received several calls from concerned citizens stating that the police were involved in a vehicle pursuit with a dark vehicle unknown make or model.
I think it's the
Imagine.
Batmobile.
I just imagine
That'd be some
someone took a
crazy
day
shit to
off.
see.
Someone took a day off. They got a little stoned, and they're sitting there, and they've seen the Batman Begins. They're just like, "Is that the fucking Tumblr?"
No, do you have the Batmobile crash in your thing, Josh?
No, I don't think so.
So some guy, when they were moving like the Batmobile before they started shooting from like one area to another, someone was driving it, and this guy was high as shit. or drunk, and he saw the Batmobile and thought it was aliens, so he sped up and rear-ended it. And they like arrest him and everything.
I
And,
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's insane. And they're
Damn.
like, Christopher Nolan's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Christian Bale's in the Batmobile. Gets out, what the fuck is wrong?
But the guy literally
starts
was just
tripping.
out of his mind, high as shit.
Christopher Nolan beat
Thought it
the
was
shit out of
aliens.
you.
I would be scared as hell
Yeah.
too, man.
It's like, all right. He like goes into the car. He's like, all right, action. And Christian Bale, what the fuck?
No, Joker has a knife up to him. You want to know I got these scars?
No, he looks. Yeah, he goes. One window is Christian Bale as fucking Batman. Right is fucking the Joker. And then Harvey Dent's in the back seat, just fucking
Flipping coin.
Yeah.
Speed either way.
No wonder. I'd be fucking.
Christian Bale stated in an interview that during the interrogation scene, Heath Ledger wanted him to beat him as hard as he could so it could give a real feeling of what was required from the scene. Isn't that nuts?
Crazy motherfucker.
Telling
Like,
you,
hey,
bro,
actually beat the shit out
he
of
was
me.
into that role.
Yeah, oh, and speaking of that, in preparation for his
mission.
role, Heath Ledger hid away in a motel room for about 6 weeks during the extended stay. In seclusion, Ledger developed deep and psychological pains for the character, and he devoted himself with Joker tics, which start the movie. It's like the licking and the way he's like blinking and everything.
So
yeah.
the licking
The
was for
licking.
his prosthetic
To keep him on there.
scars. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mean, dude, you watch that, you just always pay attention to that shit. He's like
Dude,
licking
he
the
hits
shit
one
out of
and,
his
like,
lips.
brushes his hair back with
Yeah,
the
dude,
knife.
it's so good.
Holy fuck.
And there's some scary ass tics too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it works so well for the character.
Dude, but it's like it's crazy that we don't get to see him in anything after this because, like, dude, I couldn't imagine the shit that he would do if he was still alive.
Oh, the roles he'd get offered
Like,
and everything.
everything. Like, dude, it would be so
we
sick.
never
Like the
got
fact
to talk
that you
about
can
it,
just
too.
sit there and watch him be the Joker, and you can't even recognize him.
Yeah.
And then like he's changing his voice, doing all this crazy shit.
He looks so
Yeah.
much different compared to in person, man. Like in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane.
While filming the chase scene with the Joker and the SWAT vans, one of only 4 IMAX cameras in the world at the time was destroyed.
Ooh.
Damn.
That's
It's
pretty
like
expensive.
They said it's $500 million camera or 400.
Yeah,
million.
that's pretty. One of 4.
It's insane.
Fuck,
Yeah.
dude.
I think.
Yeah, I think 2008.
I'm kind of
Oh,
pissed that
it's
we
like,
don't ever go to the
what
IMAX
did
to go
we
see these
do?
movies.
We
Yeah.
did. Oh no, that's
No, we didn't go see Endgame at the IMAX. We didn't see Avatar. We didn't
Yeah.
see
Me and
Oppenheimer's
Josh
coming out,
Me
and
and
they said that
Josh
you
went,
have to see an IMAX.
We saw Endgame in IMAX.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool. And then these two we kind of mentioned, but I'll just say them again really quick. In early minutes of each of the movie in the trilogy, all the villains disguise themselves as one of their henchmen. We mentioned that earlier. And this was the first comic book movie to reach $1 billion worldwide. Something
Set
like
the tone. Set the tone.
Yep.
Some light.
Yep.
Oh, I would know my 5th comic book movie then. That'd be Into the Spider-Verse. That'd be 5.
All right.
I definitely put Blade in my top 5.
Blade is really good. Yeah, Logan.
Yeah,
Logan
Logan
shit.
too.
Oh yeah, Logan.
Can't forget Logan.
All right, I
want
think
to,
everybody has to do their best Batman impression.
I was gonna ask for your Joker, Mike.
Rachel.
No. Brian, you gotta go first.
All right. I
Brian, you gotta
kind
put
of
the
do this
mask
a
on.
lot.
You gotta.
So I have this thing where I get drunk on like a Friday and I'll Snapchat Rachel, good friend of the pod, and I'll be like, "All right, Rachel, time for my Batman impression," and I'll just go, "Rachel."
Imagine just like being in bed on Friday night or like some shit. You gotta wake up early. You just see this motherfucking Skype like that.
No. Imagine this. Imagine like some dude going home with Rachel, and then she plays that Snapchat, and you really.
I'm more so concerned about the people in the bar with
Rachel.
me. I'm doing this shit at the bar.
Oh,
A
this
couple
dude's
of my
in a
friends have been
fucking
like,
public
"What the fuck
setting.
is that?" And I go, "Yeah, I know. I'm just on one, dude. I'm Batman."
I'm just a character.
Yeah.
Method acting.
No.
Oh.
I think before we get into reviews, because I'm gonna be pissed if we don't talk about this scene, the ending scene where Batman has to run,
Dude.
is one of my favorite scenes I think ever in a movie. Right?
Well,
So
what superhero movie do we watch where he like completely lies to the entire Gotham, I guess you could say, the world, and he just
Yeah.
takes all the heat,
all the blame,
and Harvey Dent's like a hero at the end of the movie where he
and that makes Batman the biggest hero of them all, right? I mean, taking the fall for
Yeah.
that and having to run. And I love when he's explaining it to his son too. He's like, "But he
Yeah.
did nothing wrong." Like that whole scene just gives me chills every time I watch
And
it.
when Gordon does that like monologue at the end where he's just talking and it's like closing out and it's doing that
And he-
shot, so
Well, when he closes it out, he said, "It's not the hero that Gotham wants, but it's the hero that Gotham needs."
It's
And
not
then
the
it's
hero
like
that Gotham
the Dark
needs.
Knight.
It's the
And
hero
I'm like,
that Gotham deserves.
I don't know. Do we
whatever
like
it
this
is.
ending better than Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
I think so because
I would
well,
think
Dark
so.
Knight Rises is left to like your interpretation, I
Yeah,
guess. Like it's kind of
Which I
like
kinda like
which is
that.
cool.
I kinda
It is
like
cool.
it better.
He's got the flyest honey on the block.
Yeah,
Alfred's
he's got
there
Anne
with him.
Hathaway.
Okay. Tell me
Cat.
this though. I think we can talk about it. Do you think
Alfred
he's
Knott.
alive, or do you think it's just his
I
imagination?
think he's alive.
I think he's alive.
Yeah, I think he's
alive.
alive.
He's
because,
Batman,
again.
dude.
Remember
They mentioned the
Lucius-
autopilot. At
Lucius
the beginning.
asked about like getting it fixed, and he goes, "What do you mean? It was fixed by?" And then they looked it up, and it was fixed by Bruce Wayne like months prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's living, bro.
This ending's really good, but until the Dark Knight Rises come out, I don't know. I think I
agree.
like that ending a little bit better.
Although, but
Just because it's a
while we're
happy
at it,
ending,
though,
though.
again, marking this as one of the best trilogies. The third one was sick as fuck, or the first one was sick as fuck too, because you're sitting there and Gordon's like, "I think you're causing too much ruckus." This guy's been popping up left and right. He's been leaving these as calling cards, and it's the Joker. Like I forgot about that because I rewatched that on the plane back from Nashville, and I got to that ending. And I go, "Holy shit! I forgot that he gives him the card." Like
Yeah.
I forgot that we knew Joker was going to.
They're all good endings, man.
Man, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking masterpiece, man. Like
All
No,
chills
Nolan
at the
is
end.
So good.
No.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
100%. No, I hope Nolan does like something again, but I don't know. I feel like it's a masterpiece. Don't touch it.
Nah,
like it is what
leave
it
it.
is.
Leave it.
Hey,
I don't think
well,
he will.
I'll tell you this, bro. Fucking, we start getting some crazy nuclear wars. He's about to make a fucking sequel to Oppenheimer, bro. Fucking, this shit's gonna be some crazy shit, bro. We're all gonna be dead. He's gonna be fucking making that happen, bro. Some
Hey,
crazy shit.
we need you in a bunker because you're gonna have to film the
Yeah.
sequel.
He's the
No.
only person going to Mars because he has to make the sequel up.
No, and obviously too, like I like Tenet a lot, and like Interstellar, obviously, is like probably one of his best, right? So it's like
Yeah.
he's just amazing at what he
I've only
does. So.
seen Tenet once, and I remember not being blown
It's
away.
one of his worst movies.
It's a little
I'll tell you
mindfuck,
that.
I
You
think.
just didn't.
I liked
need
it a
to
lot.
know.
Dude,
You just
Yeah,
didn't
it
get it,
was
man.
a-
You weren't in
it
the
was
right
a-
headspace, probably.
Yeah,
You
it's
just watch Rick
over
and
my
Morty
head.
beforehand.
I gotta watch
Yeah.
Interstellar tonight though. That you just brought that up, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
forgot
watch,
about
though.
that
Yeah, if you watch,
Interstellar's so good.
if you
dude.
watch Tenet, you have to actually complete an IQ test beforehand.
No, you have to
Before
live
and
your
after.
Life, you have to live your life and rewind for 24
Yeah.
hours before you watch
Yeah.
it. Or you just start walking backwards
no,
at the watch it.
yeah. Interstellar's great.
That's some click shit with Adam Sandler, man.
Yeah.
No, but I'm excited. I mean, Oppenheimer is obviously his newest movie that we get soon in July, so
We'll
I got
rewind. Interstellar
high hopes for
right
that.
before
But I mean, he's not going to end anytime soon, so we're just going to keep getting more and more projects from him.
I know we talk about the MCU a lot, man, but I really, if he touched it, like with like I don't know, just like
He's-
whatever.
he's too
I
good
think
for that.
I think MCU is too low, too low for him now.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
Yeah.
especially
They're
with,
just a
with
cash
Disney for
grab.
sure.
DC, this man came
all,
out of
all
nowhere.
the nerds would be like, "What?"
Remember, Nolan came out of nowhere and fucking sparked the whole DC thing again. Like prior to that,
And he's got
it had
Hans
been-
Zimmer in his pocket.
Yeah, dude, it had been a lull. Like again, don't get me wrong, the Keaton movies were great, but then we had Batman Forever, and what was the other one? Batman Returns with Jim Carrey and fucking
Yeah.
what's his name?
Arnold, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, no, the Danny DeVito one.
Oh, the
was
guy that
good.
played
I'm
Mr.
talking
Freeze.
Arnold.
what the
Arnold
fuck is his name?
Schwarzenegger.
No, the dude from Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones
Oh.
as Two-Face.
Oh, with
Like
the, yeah.
those two movies were dog shit.
Orange
So
hair.
like no, everyone had kind of written off DC at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that shit saved DC 1,000,000%.
Oh, yeah.
That'll probably be the best project that. I mean, obviously, it'll be the best project that DC's ever made.
But how
You guys
crazy
ready
is
to
it
get
that
the
Nolan
scores?
literally has any actor in Hollywood in his pocket? He's got, you saw the cast for Oppenheimer, right? Literally
Yeah.
anyone you can name is on that.
Well,
And
dude's
they
like
just
a
dropped that
top
new
director
trailer
of all
with,
time too.
yeah, they just dropped that new trailer with Robert Downey Jr.'s in it.
Mhm.
It's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait.
All right, Aiden, go ahead and give your review.
My review.
Hey, your score.
Well, I mean, we hit everything. Like I said, I think the worst thing that came out of this movie is the uh, makeshift Batcave, his temporary Batcave for all the music videos. The I mean, like you said, from start to finish, though, you don't know what to expect, and I mean, we've seen it so many times, so it's so hard to like give. I guess you could say an honest review, like compared to our other ones where we watch the movie and then we go and do the review on it. But I mean, this one still holds its ground. It's still one of the best superhero movies of all time, and there's nothing that you would change about it. Um, Cast is great, directing's great, story from just the entirety of the story is great. So um, I like the Maggie Gyllenhaal switch for Rachel. I think that's good. I mean, because we see a lot of casting changes in a lot of new superhero movies, and I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a bad one. But yeah,
Cheeto.
R.I.P. the goat. You think that's a bad one?
No, I was just saying.
Like replacing a character.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this one just gets better over time. But I mean, you don't want to kind of burn yourself out watching it. But it's still one of Nolan's greatest, and one of is it considered? Yeah, it's a DC movie, so DC's best movie ever made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep,
Easily.
I agree.
Easily.
But yeah, I mean, I feel confident giving this a 95 out of 100. Solid 95 for me.
All right.
Rewatchability is at an all-time high too.
Oh, it is for sure.
Brian,
Okay.
you want to go?
Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure if you said my name or not. All right, so like Aiden said, we talked about basically everything, so I'm gonna go over some of my favorite parts about this whole thing. Again, arguably the best superhero movie to come around. It held that title for the longest time up until Marvel was getting towards the end, and literally when it came to how much money it made, this was up there. And then when it finally got beat out by was it Endgame?
I think it was the original Avengers.
Was it the original Avengers? I wasn't sure if that one made that much money or not.
Well, so Dark Knight Rises made $20 million more.
Oh, really?
Worldwide.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. But, for a while, like, this one had the mantle. Superhero movies weren't really that popular at the time, And, again, it was cool because this one wasn't so, like, like comic book pow, like, shit going on. Like, this was real. Nolan
It
held
felt
it
like
down.
a real movie.
Right, and that felt good. And then you see Heath Ledger play arguably the best Joker that we will probably see. And not saying that I hate Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but
It's not the same.
yeah, exactly. It's not the same, and to see that this role damn near—I'm not gonna say it killed him, but it didn't help him at all. He just really did put himself in there. There's just so many scenes throughout this, even rewatching it now, where it's like if someone was next to me, I'd be like, "Oh, watch this." Like, there's so much good shit happening throughout this whole thing. But at the end of the day, you got to think about it. We get Christian Bale in his peak, dude bulked up like a motherfucker to get there. We get Morgan Freeman playing Lucius Fox. Love that. We get what's Alfred's name again? Blanking.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Michael Caine. Love that fucking guy. Get him, and then Hans Zimmer, dude. Hans Zimmer doing the soundtracks. Like, get the fuck out of my face. That's amazing. Probably missing some things I want to talk about, but I'll just keep rambling if I keep going. So I think I could comfortably give this a 95 out of 100 as well. I think if you would have asked me this like fucking 5 years ago, I'd probably still give it 100. But, like we said, that Batman voice at now does seem a little forced, but also I don't hate it. Like, I know a lot of people don't like it. Not going to say I don't hate it. At a certain point, though, you're kind of like, all right, man, what are we doing? Like,
That's kind of how I feel, Brian, if I'm being honest.
But yeah, 95 out of 100 for me.
Yeah, real quick before the next person goes, how crazy is it? Have you guys ever seen The Machinist with Christian Bale?
No, I've seen
Yes, dude.
It's the one where he's
So
literally
crazy.
like 100 or like 97 pounds, and he obviously does method acting. Like he's
He
one of
lost
the
like 70
craziest
pounds,
actors.
I think.
Yeah, and then he bulks up from The Machinist from that to his most in shape. He was like 220 pounds, and they told him that he had to get like cut, like he had to get toned. So he like all that in the matter of what, like maybe 9 months, 7 months.
And it
like,
wouldn't have been possible had it not been for Breast and Barbell.
Yeah.
Yup.
But like,
got him
how
the
crazy is
workout
that?
and diet plan.
I want to know
Right.
I want to know the science behind that. Like, it obviously can't be healthy.
Oh God, no.
No.
That's not
There's
God,
there's
no.
no way
No,
possible
I
to
think
happen
he
in 9
said
months.
after
I
well,
look
the
it
one
up.
where he played Dick Cheney, I think he said that was going to be the last body transformation that he puts himself through because
Yeah, because he's big for that.
It's
Yeah,
taking a
he was
toll
huge
on
on
him.
that one.
Yeah. Andrew, I know you usually finish us off, but I think me and Mike probably like this movie just a tad bit more than you. I'm probably gonna suck the dick out of it for 10 minutes between the two of us. Did you want to
Yeah,
go
no.
first or no?
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
I'm
I
gonna
wanna
get the
copy,
balls.
I actually want to copy these other two with their score of a nice 95. Roll right in
Ooh.
there.
Okay.
I did actually have that before. They said it though. Yeah, it was quieter.
So they
on this
copied you.
review. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I was born before them, so I thought it first.
Makes
Actually,
sense.
Aiden
Aiden,
is the elder.
yeah,
here.
Aiden's oldest.
So I could be your
Aiden's
dad.
Yeah.
Old ass man.
Yeah, this guy's old as hell. No, but 95. This is a great superhero movie. It's a great movie. Actually, I don't even want to say a great superhero movie. It's one of the greatest when you put it in that category. But as a movie in itself, it's great. To get a 95 across the board and whatever these guys are about to give it, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. It holds up over time pretty damn well. And I don't see it because this is one where I've been the thing that I've been touching on the last couple of reviews where there's movies where they feel like they're like checking boxes. This movie doesn't feel like that. This is going to continue to hold up for a long time.
Oh yeah.
95 for me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go next. You know, it's crazy because usually when we do these rewinds, like we've seen the movies before, in most cases, right? And I've seen this movie probably over a dozen times easily. But it's like when you start it, you can't even look down at your phone. I feel like you can't even look away. It's so compelling and you like invest everything and you put yourself into the movie, right? And you know, we mentioned it earlier, like there's emotional scenes where like you think Gordon's dead. And I always have to remind myself he's still alive. It's just to protect his family.
I was gonna say,
And then
God,
the part yeah, the part where like Rachel dies is like heartbreaking too. And then like you could tell like Bruce Wayne's hurting that he actually felt like she was waiting for him and like she was his purpose, you know, behind everything else. So for him to lose her, it's like it's a real loss. And I feel like superhero movies don't really do that nowadays where we lose someone that impactful. And you know, she was a huge part of his life on the Bruce Wayne side, you know, rather than the Batman side. She kept him human, I feel like, or kept him like grounded, I guess, in a way. And then there's like a couple funny moments too. Like this movie really does bring everything to the table, and you can go into it not knowing anything about any superhero stuff. You don't have to watch the first movie to watch this and completely understand and love this movie. And I think that's really powerful in itself. And you know, we mentioned earlier with Hans Zimmer, like I think this next to Interstellar is some of like his best work, just score wise. Like you hear like I said, like with the whole Joker scene at the beginning with the bank, with like the C note and the D note, like you just know all these things
Don't
from
forget Modern
the
Warfare
Batman.
2.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, so there's like so many things where you like you hear it and you know it's from that scene or from that character or from this movie, which I think that's really powerful too. So I know I mentioned earlier, Mike, it's not my top 15. It's actually my top 12. And I knew if I said that, I was going to give away my score. I'm going to give this movie a perfect 100. It is one of my favorite movies. It is the best superhero movie in my opinion. I don't know anything else that comes close to it. There is like I really liked last year's The Batman a lot, and I thought like how does it compare to the other two movies in the trilogy? And I think I do like it more than Batman Begins. And it's kind of right there with Dark Knight Rises for me. But you know, I know everyone's kind of indifferent with the trilogy. So, but this definitely is the best one. I think out of any superhero movie, like I said too, it feels real. It feels like this is a real movie. Like it's not Iron Man's suit or Thor's hammer or whatever it might be. It feels realistic. So, and I love that a lot. But yeah,
Chicago could definitely use Batman right now.
yes,
The U.S.
Yes.
can, man.
yeah, really.
Yeah, that's good.
How crazy that Hans Zimmer did Kung Fu Panda.
Did he really?
That's a goat.
We're doing that in a few weeks.
That's
Are
fun.
we?
Yeah,
Dude, think
on
about the
schedule.
music in those movies. It's
They're
pretty
great.
damn good.
I haven't seen it in so long.
he's the best.
All right, man. I'm gonna finish this off here. There is so much I want to talk about, but we hammered it home pretty much throughout this whole episode and throughout these reviews for sure. But Best comic book movie of all time. Spider-Man 2 is a close second for me. Best superhero comic book trilogy of all time, in my opinion. Um, Arguably one of the best trilogies of all time, comic book or not, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion, like I said, if I haven't stated that for the fourth time already. But top 10 movie of all time for me. It's crazy that Nolan has two of my favorite movies ever with this and Interstellar. I think Interstellar is a top 15 movie of all time for me. So just to have those two movies up there, it just goes to show you that Nolan is just one of the best to do it. And I'm super excited for Oppenheimer. I think that's going to be a great movie as well. But two of the most iconic performances of all time with Heath Ledger as Joker and Christian Bale as Batman. I don't think there's going to be anyone that tops either of those in those roles, respectively. To be honest with you, so but there's so many iconic scenes. Just an iconic movie, and I can't say enough about this movie. I've talked about this, I think, the most out of everybody in this episode. And if it's not clear by now that I absolutely love this movie, I love this fucking movie. So with that said, I'm going to give it a perfect score as well, 100 out of 100. I think 95 is a little low, in my opinion, from you three, but I respect it. I respect it. I will say that.
Mike, is that your first 100?
Yeah, it's my first 100.
Okay, that's my third 100. And I only have 12 spots. So
what were the other two?
Moneyball and Shawshank.
Okay.
So.
I was gonna say though, thinking about it, this is probably the rewind that all of us have seen the fucking most.
Yeah,
because like I'm right there with Andrew. Like I know him around 7, 8.
It was my recommendation, even though it's not really a recommendation. But... Hey, you should see The Dark Knight. That's a really good movie.
Yeah. I'll check it out sometime.
This isn't even for me.
Fucking, what?
I mean,
12, 15 years.
Yeah, for me, this movie's not even just something that I'm like, oh my god, like it's so great. Like I don't know if I share the same enthusiasm as Mike and Josh, but and I'm not just saying that because I'm actually tired.
You're just a hater.
No, I'm not, dude. But it's a really good movie. Like I throw this on, I'm not going to be disappointed. That's my point. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a great movie.
I hope.
I don't know if I share the same enthusiasm, but
it's just the movie. The movie is like perfect all the way till the end, and then you think like, how do you stick a landing like this? And they do. Like, I just love the ending of this movie so much that it just like it's a nice bow on, nice tie to the bow, right? It's like perfect the way it ends. So
I'm waiting for the day where we all do a movie and we all give the exact same score.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Because I know damn well if you guys gave the same score and I was going last, I give it a different score.
We were 3/5 of the way there.
I know.
Usually, Mike, you start the scores usually, Mike. So
I know. I wanted to finish this off for this one here.
Yeah. But all right, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back. Next episode's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So we got a bunch of bangers
this whole time.
Darn it.
Made this episode.
Thank you guys for listening, though. And we'll see you guys later.
Peace out.
Thank you, boys.
See you next week.
Love you, Brian.